you so much. Welcome back to the Christian View, where we're talking about parenting, strict parenting versus loose parenting. But we are going to talk about, we're going to get Christian parenting in on this segment too, but we are going to discuss, are parents today too busy to raise their children? Are parents leaving their kids to be raised by social media, the schools? There's a lot of things now to pacify kids so that you don't have to stay on them all the time and entertain them.
Yeah. Well, you know, Jackie, this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart because
It is.
I just
You wrote a
came
book.
off of it. And I came off of a job 9 years where it was, you know,
sure
40,
did.
60 hours a week, and we were doing the show as well. And really, my kids were being left unparented by me. Now, Edward had to step up, and he did a lot, and I wouldn't be able to do what I did if it hadn't been for him. But the bottom line is, children need a mother.
They got to come first.
The mother is a nurturer, and that may sound old-fashioned or old school to some of you, but there's nothing like a mom in the home.
Can you tell a difference in Truett since you let the job go and now you're a full-time mom at home with him?
He's much happier. I'm much happier. They actually have meals. There were days that I would come in from my job and I would be so exhausted, so tired, and the house would just be a mess. There's boys everywhere. There's football in the kitchen, you know. It's just a sink full of dirty dishes. I'm like, this house needs a mother. You know what I'm saying?
And that's probably like most houses out there. That's probably a common house today.
Yes, exactly.
We are busy, but we have to be more intentional today. So, for instance, my daughter has the ability to take the bus, but I drive her to school so we can spend that time talking through important issues and help her think what's going on in her life, you know, so she doesn't give in to peer pressure. Because I think one of the scary parts is that time can be used for things that are not godly or good values. So we can't leave them to their own devices.
And we have to understand too, you know, I know your situation, everybody's situation is unique, but we also have some parents, single moms, you know, single dads.
Let's talk about you being a single dad with girls.
Yes, you know, it's a lot that you have to. One of the things that I had to understand was that my kids didn't care as much about how much I spent on them as much time I spent with them.
So presence versus presence.
Exactly, and that's, you know, very important. A lot of times as parents, we think, you know, well, I'm trying to make sure kids have this and they have this, but kids really just want you.
I love this quote I saw from Barbara Johnson. I'm not really sure who she is, but I love how it said, if you want to have memories in years to come, you have to live the life today to create them. So you have to be with your kids to have memories going
Lee,
forward.
was strict on them girls?
Oh, yes, most definitely. You know, they were, because I was a firm believer that, you know, I was not going to reap things that I didn't sow. And I was very, you know, I did my thing as a kid, but I was never disrespectful to my parents. I never talked back to my parents. I didn't raise my voice at my parents, so I didn't sow that.
You let them date at 15?
No, 16. Now, they probably were talking to people and things like that without me knowing it. Yes, you know, but I'm not going to, you know, act like they weren't, but I did not, yes. But it was more of, you know, it had to be, I had to be firm with them, but I also had to, you know, try to do some nurturing because sometimes I would feel like that I was too hard in that moment. I would see their faces, they would look crushed, you know, and I was like, okay, I was dealing with them like a boy.
I think, you know,
I can't see that.
no, we have to protect our children.
Yes, we
because
do.
kids now, you know, they're in a different time, and kids now are very jealous, you know, and they're very obsessive.
Yes.
And these young friendships that turn into little relationships, them not being able to process their emotions like a grown person can be deadly.
Right, and if you don't have that relationship where you are spending time with them, quality time with your presence, then, you know, they're going to turn to someone else for that type of advice. I think a neat thing to keep in mind, from the time a child enters kindergarten till the time he or she graduates from high school, there are only 680 Saturdays. Oh, wow. So if you looked at that, and I heard of someone that got marbles and put them in a jar, and every Saturday, 680.
Wow.
Isn't that impactful? And every Saturday they took out a marble, realizing that, you know, when it was midway, you're there. And you know, we're all parents of older children, and they want you so much when they're young, but it's harder and harder to rope them in when they get when they get older.
When they get older.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think a lot of times, you know, with me being a single parent and having 3 children, what I would do is I would give each one had their own day.
Right.
You know, to make them feel that, you know, that they're individuals. And those are just little strategies and wisdoms. And if parents will begin to pray, you know, because we are a Christian view. And God has a view. And as we begin to pray and ask God to, you know, tailor-make your situation.
Right.
Tailor-make the situation for you. He'll give you strategy on how to spend that time with your
the
children.
best time you will ever spend with your child is in church.
Yes.
It's in the house of God. And you know, I read when I was researching about how to find that Christian medium, you know, so that you're not too strict or too loose, but that Christian medium. Because you can make them go to church too much. You can put the Bible down their throat too much and turn them away from it, Lee.
And it tells us don't provoke our children to wrath, you know. And I just wanted to pose too, how do we help parents who are struggling with kids who need discipline or are getting out of control, but children who have no fear? The parents are doing everything they can to keep them on point, but the children have no fear.
Well, there is tough love, of course, but you have to do it from love. I think it's a good point to say that church extends from just Sunday. So it's about finding other families where you share the same values, maybe having family night. I make it a point to invite the group of children that they're going to hang out with, or teenagers, even the potential boys they're going to date, to the house for dinner to see what, you know, so they can also see the type of family we have. So planting those good values.
That's so good, Jackie, too. Can I just say, that's being engaged. You know, you can be in the home and totally not engaged.
That's
like
right.
the picture on Pinterest of the lady standing in the bathroom mirror taking a selfie and the child drowning in the tub. I mean, hello. I mean, we have become such a selfish, me society that we're on the internet, we're on social media, and we're clueless. And I've done it too. You know, we're clueless about what's going on.
And one of the things that I'm telling you, this makes so much sense, is what kind of a parent is your child going to be?
Right.
Well, number one, when they look at you, do they like the parent you were? Do they want to be like you? Or do they want to be the complete opposite from what you were?
Well, I know we can't squeeze it all into one show, but I do want to mention Love and Logic is a great resource. I also found online 412 teens.org, and it gave some great Christian advice for parenting. And I think we need to go out and educate ourselves and not just say, well, we just know how to do this.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
That's kind of what I did.
I do tell my kids, you know, you got to forgive me if I make the wrong choice. I'm learning. But God gave you a mother and a father for a reason, so you have to kind of follow our guidelines.
We didn't come with a manual on how to parent.
I wish we did.
Well, we did really. The Bible.
But even with that,
This is so good. For all of you that's joining us at home, we'll be right back. For all of you listening on radio, we hope you enjoyed this today. Thank you so much.